Howdy folks, we're doing a mystery race on Speedbump, 3 of them, 10 minutes each, 10 minutes or 15? 10 minutes, right?
10 minutes, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to make them play 3D World Runner too long. Game 1.
No, 3D World Runner?
Yeah, it's back. If you want to tell the players that they can hit select to go into 3D shutter glasses mode even though they don't have that on hand and not be able to play well, they are welcome to. They can do it even now during the cutscene. After that, we will do a second game and a third game and see what our total score ends up being.
Alright, I'll go ahead and give them the countdown.
Yep, we are ready to go. I'll be grabbing sound from Digi. There was an 8th player who doesn't seem to be here. If Aragon shows up, we'll add him in and start hiding the scoreboard, but for now, the scoreboard will work. Look at that great color scheme on that scoreboard. Wow, nice work, Author Blues.
Thanks.
Oh, you gotta use force start.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to figure out. It was Tarragon, yeah.
Alright, here we go. Good luck, players. So they'll have a scaled score based on their position in this.
Yeah, we use the same method every week, or every time we do the triple races, where their performance in a game is scaled based on everybody's performance in that game. So hopefully it makes dissimilar games feel at least a little bit like they can be compared to one another.
I am going to give them one piece of advice to this. I'm typing it now. The mushroom is instant death, but the other power-ups, which are found by running into pipes, will give you... I think one of them gives you an HP up, and the other one gives you fireballs. For sure, that's what the fireballs one is, but I don't remember what the hell the second one is. I think it is just HP, which is not very helpful in this game, which is pits. Pits. I've been working on
Kamiya Games took the advice of checking out the 3D shutter glasses mode to heart.
Yeah, it's... So... I don't even know where you would get, or would have gotten those, or would get them now. The 3D glass is what would go into the NES port.
Yeah, just alternate frog blinking.
It came with the game. Well, I had this game and I didn't have them. They didn't come with my game. Maybe my dad was like best friends with a dude who owned a rental store, which was fantastic, so maybe that's why. Maybe he just bought the game by itself.
Okay, that's a fair point. White Panther in chat said, if anyone in this group has the glasses, it would be Okami, and I think that there's a better than average chance Okami's just wearing the glasses right now.
That's cool. I thought that there were some expensive, weird accessory, but if they came with the game, that's just Nintendo still does that. They still give you that kind of little thing to play your game with sometimes.
Our players seem like they're doing pretty well. Jeffy's already on World 1B. That's pretty good. I think the B's for bonus. Joystick is our first player to make it to World 2 after spending a bunch of time in the chat saying that because he hadn't heard of this game, he didn't expect to do very well.
This game, in 10 minutes, some of the players might get to the real nastiness. I don't think we should go by score, I think we should go by distance also, anyway. I don't know what the hell the score means. I think it's based on the time. I have a lot of complaints about 3D World Runner. I do think it's one of the hardest NES games, but I think the technique... I guess it would come down to if you can do a specific, ridiculous technique, speedrunner kind of thing. Except it's mandatory. If you can do it, I guess it's not that bad. I can't do it. Not consistently, anyway. And the entire game becomes just doing that over and over again. It's super hard. Nightmare stuff, but it's not a long game. And the point where you need to do that stuff shows up in level 5. They're not going to make it that far in 10 minutes, probably. But, you also have the ability to speed up your movement and run fast. You have to go full speed later. You just have to hold the up button the entire time and turn as little as possible, or you're not going to make it. The timer will cut you off. Which is pretty neat. Isn't that cool?
It is.
It's like if Donkey Kong Country had like a 30-second timer for each stage.
Okami is lamenting his choice to activate this mode, I think.
On the moon, with the vision on. So this is Squaresoft's game. This is one of Squaresoft's before Final Fantasy, I think. When they weren't sure, they were just throwing darts at the wall, I guess, on this kind of game. Just trying new things.
Okami apparently shared information about a continue code.
I didn't know there was one. That's news to me. That's cool. It might not actually be news to me, because that sounds familiar, but I didn't remember it offhand. Hold left and press start? That sounds right,
Holding
actually.
down and press A, I think, according to what Okami posted.
The Squaresoft code. Not quite as interesting. I'm glad you like the soundtrack. You've heard all of it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
All 2 of it. But
It's
yeah,
impressive that for how short it is, it would never get tiring to me.
I would use it as a ringtone, yeah. I guess there's 3 songs. 4. There's a death song jingle, there's a victory song, there's the boss music, and then there's the song that's actually pretty unique and good. It's jumpy. It makes you really feel like you're having a good time even though you're playing 3D World Runner and you're trying to jump off of pipes. That's the technique. If you look at any of the players, really, you see these towers they're running past, or the pipes. The goal is eventually to jump so that your height is right on top of them, bouncing off the top of them. They are on the screen as long as it looks like they are, and no more. If you miss, you're going to fall into a pit. That is what this game becomes. I have no idea why it becomes that. It's one of the most unhinged difficulty switches I've ever seen. The fact that people can beat this game is alarming, but people speedrun it. It just makes me feel like I'm not a gamer. I can't do this game at all. I just finished... Well, I didn't finish it, but Roller Games. If it weren't for the muck truck, I would have finished it, but Roller Games is easier for me than this.
Really feels like you gotta prove to yourself now that you can do it.
I know that Child Me couldn't do it, and Child Me was a better gamer, if I'm being real, than I am.
What?
I think so.
You think Child You is a better gamer than you are now?
Maybe not in skill, but in relentlessness, yes. And the amount of time I poured onto this game and never finished it was untold millions of minutes.
This might come across as judgy, but I think Child You is a chump. I think you could probably outgame him any day.
It's possible, but I think the 3D World Runner got me for a reason. I think Child Me would have enjoyed the Damage Shuffler a lot. But I don't think Child Me would have understood how the AI works or how to analyze anything like that. They would have just been pure intuition, pure instinct.
Just going off of vibes.
Well, who's made it the furthest so far? With 2 minutes left, we gotta start looking at that.
Both Joystick Hero and Okami of Games have made it to World 2. I don't know how far into World 2. Digi is also on World 2 now.
If the players can post their furthest level, that's probably the best thing to do, because it does make a pretty loud ding and heals you. It's a timer bar, but yeah, it looks like it heals you, so it's pretty hard to miss that you made it to a new checkpoint. So I think the players will know if they made it to, say, 2-3. It's pretty clear about it. Nobody beat World 2, which is kind of surprising. I thought they would get to World 3 at least. That's where the game gets pretty gross. But then it cools down for a minute, and then it gets to the pipe jumping, I was saying.
What a wild game.
It's a bit chaotic. I like the way it looks. I like the way the background slowly moves towards you. I think it does anyway. Like it just eventually gets zoomed in, and it scrolls in a way that makes you feel like
it's
you're
probably
running...
scrolling up to make you feel like you're getting closer to it.
Yeah, and it scrolls left and right in a way that loops, but it makes it feel like it's a world. It's pretty well done, that part. The part that sucks is the balance, the playability.
Right.
Everything else is great. If there were a 3D World Runner 2, maybe they would have fine-tuned. Time is up.
Poor Okami.
They did a sequel. They have to bring it back. 4D World Runner.
Okay, well, it looks like we have something like a 7-way tie going on here. It seems like everyone got to 2-1.
Yeah, but not everyone's just on 2-1.
Well, not right this second, but everyone, their furthest stage was 2-1.
Yeah. I think 2-1 is pretty long. By the looks of it. Well, that's fine. We got a big tie.
All right. Okami got to 2-3. Okay, so Okami... Okay, so we did have one person break with the pack. I think Tarragon might also be here now. I don't know if you want to check and see if his stream's up.
Let's take a look. They only made it to 1-2. Allegedly. I didn't see any of that. I'm going by what they're saying. Part of the trouble in this game might be not knowing how to get this power up, so I wanted to make sure they got that data. Looked like some of them had grabbed some of it. It's a game, alright. 3D World Runner. Tarragon is here.
Oh, the fans are not receiving Game 2 very well.
8 eyes. 10 minutes.
Oh. Yeah, so you and I not knowing a lot about this game might be a hindrance here. Apparently, there's like a stage select, so it's like Mega Man style.
Yeah, I knew that.
I didn't know that. So what should we tell them about what to do?
There's a score we'll have to use this time, and
Okay.
I don't think anyone's going to clear a single stage. By my experience of this game, I have enough experience to say that that's unlikely. It's Castlevania Mega Man's. We have 10 minutes on the board.
All right. I've let them know that they can pick any levels that they want to, that we're going by score, and that they should keep track of their highest score. All right. I have given them the countdown.
The dots have gone.
This is a game that I've been aware of for a really long time just because of its history in speedrunning, and I've meant to play it, and I just still have never done so.
I'm only aware of it because it's the first game in the NES library.
What about 3D World Runner?
Nah.
Sadly does not count for inexplicable reasons.
The 2-in-1 games.
This game looks cool in a way that I can totally understand why people might think this is a bad game. It's cool to me in the ways that I know other people probably don't care for.
It's just one of those unfair, confusing games. It's got all the bad things about like Castlevania 3, not even Castlevania 1, so it's not as rough as that one, but like the rooms in Castlevania 3 that you can't really get through reasonably is every room in this game. That I've ever seen, and you have a lot of work to do. You gotta beat all 8 stages to get to the House of Ruth to do something. I've never made it that far. You have this bird that's hard to control. I don't know what its deal is exactly, but it attacks. It's a neat idea. I've seen it done in other games. Familiar. I've seen it done properly, I should say. It's not really working out in 8 eyes. But as you know, birds have 6 eyes, so that's where you get your title.
Gotcha. So it's you plus the 6-eyed bird.
I didn't know that you had to ghouls and ghosts through the game, not once, but twice. 3 completions for a full clear, that's news to me. 8 eyes, so it's 24 eyes, really.
Based on what Okami was saying, I think Okami is somewhat familiar with this game. So, you know, if I were a betting man, and I'm not, I would be putting my money on Okami probably.
Three wins in 1 session. I don't know if it gets any easier, if you get any kind of powers or anything like that. You have this big health bar that never seems like it's full. It's a big commitment, I think, this one. I wanted to punish somebody. Getting a full clear on this. It does track your high score.
I can't even blame you for this one. You picked 3D World Runner, but I picked this one.
I think the players have already made it further than this than they did in 3D World Runner, really. They're not going to clear a single world, but they're going to see more of each world.
Okami's just like really mad at walls, just spending a lot of time stabbing walls. Subwoofers has made the most score progress. I mean, I don't know if it's just because he's making really consistent forward progress or if he's got something else going on, but I mean, considering we've informed them that this is purely a score race, Subwoofers has understood the task.
Map design. Fall down a pit so that you can get to the other side of a wall to climb up a different set of stairs on the opposite end of the room. Lots of stairs. This is a two-player game.
Does the second player control the bird?
Yeah. That seems.
Oh,
to
I
be
was
true.
joking. That's serious?
I think so.
That rules.
That might help a lot. You must fight the Duke's soldiers, nuclear mutants.
I want to say, having been watching Okami play this a lot, I think his familiarity with the game might be getting him into trouble here, because it seems like what he's doing is he's like checking the boxes for like late game progress, you know, like he knows about some secrets that he needs to do, but they're not worth points. Like, he's not going to beat the game, so he doesn't need these things, perhaps.
3 minutes left. I'm just reading the plot here because some folks were talking about it. I can see why American Nintendo would have changed it to some goofy super mutant plot where you collect gems and build the world, because the original plot is like the Ottoman Empire has been cutting people open and America gotta stop them and their heads are missing, and let's excavate the journals and stop the murderers, and Ruth is the leader of the demons and they're working for Satan, basically. That's the plot of the Japanese
Classic
version.
stuff.
So they changed all that one over to yeah, just collect some gems. Also, James Bond is in the Japanese one apparently for some reason. He's just there. I don't know that you play as him. He's just hanging out.
It's like, hey man, I'm James Bond.
No, it is him. James Bond is who you play as, and his pet eagle Cutlass, who I don't know if that's in one of the movies. I've only seen like
I'm sorry, the original 8 Eyes you play as James Bond?
Yes, in Japanese.
I'm looking this up. I'm calling bullshit. There's no way that that's true. I'm sorry.
That's the way it is.
I genuinely regard you as an authority on things. I have to see this with my own 2 eyes.
I don't understand. I never was into the James Bond movies, so I've only ever seen a couple of the modern ones, I guess, and 1 or 2 of the really old ones, which are very hard to watch, like Moonraker. But I don't remember a bird. There may have been in some. In one of them, just one time, there may have been a bird.
To make matters more confusing, the original Japanese manual tells a completely different story. It was set in the Balkans in the late 19th century, and you play as British Empire agent Sir Julian James Bond, sent on a mission to stop a plot to resurrect demons. Same James Bond? I don't know. Is it the same? But it is James Bond. You were correct.
MI5's James Bond? I don't care what his first name is. James his middle name?
That's James Bond lore. I mean, we discovered that James was actually his middle name all along.
Bond.
And that he was
Julian James
knighted?
Bond. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You ever played James Bond Jr.?
No.
Good.
So you're saying you wouldn't recommend it?
See, now child me beat that game, and adult me, I don't know. I don't really want to. Maybe I could
That's
beat
the
it.
SNES one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that game. I always thought the young indie game looked really good, though. Well, they've got 15 seconds left before I ask him, hey, what was your best score? And they'll tell me.
Time is up. If they die, I think they'll see their high score if they don't remember what their high score is. I think that's an easy way to get it, unless they had reset the console completely. Oh, James Bond Jr. switches between awful FPS, or not FPS, shooters, shoot 'em up. You have like 1 health on your plane, and it's so hard to control, to this ridiculous platformer thing, and sometimes you're in a boat, and none of those are good. The platforming is the main part of the game. Give me nightmares thinking about James Bond Jr. now. Level design. Our third game. Warning. Ten-pen bowling.
They figured out our theme, Smite. We had to come up with a more creative theme next time because they figured it out.
I found 3D billiards, but it was lousy. Would have used it, alas.
All right, I've given them instructions that they are going to play 1 game. If they finish before the 10 minutes is up, that's fine. They get 1 game. And if they take their time, then it's whatever their score is at the clock. I'll go ahead and give them the countdown because I don't think it's really going to matter when they start. I think everyone's going to finish 10 frames in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I think that they should just play all 10 frames. That's fine. We don't need a raw clock.
Then we won't worry about the clock.
That sounds good to
That's
me.
a treat. That's a treat for our players. If they want to take their time, they go for it.
One thing I've noticed about every bowling game I've ever played. You know what? I'm gonna turn all this on once while I'm at it. But
Please do, yeah.
every bowling game I've ever played has managed to create the inconsistency that you get when you bowl in real life, where the slightest of hand movements will completely ruin your shot. But in this game, or in my experience, NES games and stuff, and Wii bowling too, if you do the exact same thing, sometimes for some reason it just doesn't work. You just don't get it.
Yeah, physics is wild.
Last time I went bowling, I got like 130, which doesn't seem like a great score. As somebody who doesn't bowl, I don't know that that's a good score. I bet that
I mean, if you don't bowl regularly, 130 is really good.
it just seemed like I was blowing a lot of shots completely, like wasn't getting any points on some. I did get like 3 strikes in a row, which seemed like it incrementally. The scoring system in bowling is a little deranged, if you ask me, but that really gave me the big points. Everything else didn't really matter in the face of that turkey.
I have no real opinions on the scoring system in bowling. I've been bowling my whole life, so it's like... it all feels really normal to me.
I think it's the bonus points that's doing it to me. Like the ability to just get multiplicative points is what other sport does that?
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Like, what if in
It's
basketball?
your reward for clearing the whole, for clearing out a whole frame.
You get a hat trick in hockey, you get 20 points? What, what is this?
I mean, I guess. In basketball, if you take your shot from further away, it's worth more points. That's not the
It's
same
worth
thing.
one more point one time. If you do 23 pointers in a row, it's not 5 million points, it's 60 points. Tennis also has a little bit of a wild one, but I grew up with playing tennis, so to me, I know it's weird, but I realized that 15 is the first point for some reason. I have no idea why.
I bowled a lot when I was younger, like on leagues and stuff, and I was okay. It definitely has put me off of bowling now because it's one of those things of like, oh, I was better back then, so now I'm like, why bother?
We have our
I don't
first score.
personally think bowling is scored all that strangely. I mean, if you get 2 hole-in-ones in a row in golf, they give you extra points, right?
No?
Okay, well, tried.
That would be bad. Golf makes sense to me just fine. There's no bonus. Golf is as straight as it gets. You get the score that you get. In this, the confusion for me is I actually would have to sit down and do math, and it's still, even with like the rules in front of me, I still don't really understand how it's scored. I understand you get bonus turns if you get strikes in the last frame. You get a couple more. Is that how that works? You get like two more throws.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you clear the frame, you get three balls in your last frame.
Yeah, tennis is the only other one I can think of that's maybe worse, but not really. I think that bowling is harder to score than any sport I can think of. Tennis is just, it goes from 15 to 30, and then from 30 to 40, and then you win, unless they also are at 40, in which case you have to get 2 in a row, or it just goes back to 40 and 40 forever. It could be perpetual until one of you dies. It could be 40 to 40 forever in tennis, and that gives you 1 point out of the 6 you need when you finally win that. And that could be one of those 6 points you need could be one of the 5 that you need. So you could need that. You would call that like a whole match.
All right, and there's our scores. Apparently this was very hard, and everyone had a hard time.
Yo, bull.
But yeah, that's that game in particular, the highest score we got was an 86, and that was Tarragon. Our final total, so each game has a maximum of 100 points that can be earned for each individual game, and our winner for tonight was Subwoofers, who got 232 of a possible 300 points, with Okami of Games coming in at 210, and wow. The struggle. Turns out, just because a game has a number at the beginning of its name doesn't make it good.
And chat makes a good point on boxing. I think also like karate, scoring that maybe is a sport that I wouldn't understand very well. Like, I don't know how that works exactly either. I don't think it's as complicated as bowling though. Damn, I just don't get it off the blues. How do you score this? I better mute all 8 of these streams before we get back here next week.
Scoring in bowling makes total sense. If you get a spare, the next ball's added to your points, and if you get a strike, the next 2 balls are added to your points. That's it.
Do what now?
For a given frame, if you get a strike on that frame, it's worth 10 points plus whatever you get in the next 2 balls, and if you get a spare, it's worth 10 points plus whatever you get on the next ball.
Yeah, that
That's
makes
it.
sense
That's-
logically. It's just a mess to actually
Yeah,
track.
it turns into kind of a mess. Yeah,
It
you're
feels like
correct.
I'm looking at like a Reddit thread with the lines going around on where the bonus ends. It's like a comment chain of points. But yeah, hey, thanks for joining me off the blues.
Of course. Have a great night.
You too. I will see you all tomorrow for Muck Truck. Looking forward to it. We do have Talkin' Pit at 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Look forward to that. I will be working on some other of the challenges that I've unlocked in the donation goals as we go here. So probably that. I'll be playing Tales of Fantasia some more, and I think the level 7 Snowzer challenges are on the list. That's probably the order of events for me. Be working on that. Hey, have a good one.